So let's try this again. I'm not going to stay on here too long, but what happened was, let's wait for some people to get in here. My phone rang and it freezes the screen. I don't understand. If someone could, I just don't get it. It freezes the screen. Like I said, my phone rang and I used to be able to X out the call and then the, it would continue, but it doesn't do that anymore for some reason. It just freezes the screen. So if someone knows, so what happened is I'm on my phone and my phone rang and it paused. It paused. I used to be able to X that out and we could continue on with the live, but it's not doing that anymore. It's just freezing it and stopping it. I'm not sure what's going on. It's just silly. It's just messed up as this COVID situation is. Oh, so the tree guy is 77. So as he's gotten older, uh, as he's gotten old, he turned it over to his employees, which it made him do it. It made him do an employee's hire and do all that, and so he's still running his business. He just did it all his whole life till probably about 69 or 70. He worked in the field. He always had a crew with him, and then he finally turned it over to the last few years where he just does the bidding. He doesn't go out anymore. He checks on the work and stuff, and he manages the equipment. But he has a pretty big outfit. I usually see around 4 or 5 guys, pulling into the parking lot. Nothing less than 60. Nothing less than 60 an hour. Um, nothing. If I'm below 60, I'm not happy. Any news on Ferris updating? I just talked to them yesterday. If they're updating it, they are very quiet and they're not saying a word. I've heard peeps behind the scenes, but I talked to the Ferris guy yesterday. Nothing. I've heard nothing. But we were actually talking about retirement before this got all shut up. Um, so, so basically, as you early in business, I'm not focused as much on that because I believe your asset investing in. I mean, listen, if you're making $750,000, if you have $150,000 business, and every 5 years, that's 100. And I would invest in that because if you're running it tight, you're going to have a large bank account. You're not going to be left out. And if you're doing fertilizing, those are valuable to assets to another company. Larger companies like to suck up smaller companies like me because it's hard for them to get 200, 300 fertilizing customers. So they would suck that up in a heartbeat, larger companies. So you can sell your business if you're solo, especially if you build it right. Start with the great foundations. But if you're just going to mow 20 lawns a week, then, you know, uh, you're not going to make it. So IRAs, investing in, investment properties is what I plan to do. And also, fertilizing is the area that I seem to be heading myself off into and, go out, make a couple $100 a day, ride around on a little spreader. It doesn't take much, once you get later on in life, things don't mean as much. Your house is paid for, everything's paid for, unless you just want to go live on a beach somewhere and, spend millions a year with that crazy lifestyle. And that's just not me. I'm a chill guy. So, you know, how much does it take for you to live? It's the same budgeting process. I think by the time you retire, your bill should be around 1,200 to 1,500 a month, depending on where you live. And, you know, how do you crack that nut? You know, that's pretty easy not to crack. Um, so IRAs, investment properties, mainly rentals. Probably you'll need about 20 rentals to do something really good. Yep, about 20 to make it a really good. You can't have like 3 or 4 rentals and expect to. You have to stretch that over about 20 rentals. And rentals will always be in good. I know a couple who built up an HVAC system. They bought an old school system. They renovated it into. Oh, I'm back on. So somehow I was able to get off of it. All right, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know if I do not disturb. Before, when a phone call would come, I would just exit out, and it would just, you know, be good. But now it freezes. But somehow I was able to get it to come back on without losing anything. Is anyone still in here? Maybe not. Maybe I didn't get anybody. John, try putting your phone on do not disturb. So there we go. Murphy's here. Drake, we had 19 in the house. Cedric, we had about 35 in the house when we were earlier. So, but ask away. Ask some more questions. I'm gonna call this one here. I gotta do some banking today. Um, uh, like I said, someone asked me if what I ordered. So it's on order. The thing is I can't believe they didn't call and give me, like, I called and ordered it yesterday. I was like, hey, listen, let's go through with this purchase that we talked about last month. And they're like, okay, what day do you want it? And I'm like, okay, we'll call you back. And they never called me back. So it's kind of like, it was a little weird. You figured, but obviously stimulus checks are released. So everyone's out spending their stimulus instead of saving it, uh, which you should be. I wouldn't be spending a lot of money right now. Hopefully, you will get the top. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to. I'm going to try. I'm going to take a heater to it. I haven't. I haven't done anything to it yet. Murphy's. You've had a ton of it. You've had bad experience with them. I heard Stinger was the best aerator with. Which did you have? Did you have the hydraulic one, or did you have the one that kind of you ride on a platform? Just customer service. That's good to know. Actually, my Ferris rep is also a Stinger rep too, so it's good to know. But he's an excellent rep. So, excuse me, excuse me. Um, any more questions? See what we got going on, and I'll call it a day, and we'll be out of here. What have you been trying to buy? Stinger? What are you buying? Ooh, that Master 4000 series. That's a heck of a. That's a. I don't. I haven't priced it. Has anyone priced those? I don't know what they're sitting at, but that's a heck of a mower compared to the 2200, because the biggest motor you can get on 2200 is a 28 EFI, which is a great mower. It is. I'm not sure that the 4000s. I'm not sure the 4000s offer an EFI. I don't know. I don't know. What Toro did was weird. They made a more powerful mower better than their 5000 series, but they made it a model below. And I don't. I really don't get that. Okay, they have it. They have an EFI. I'm not sure what the 4000. I'm not interested in it. Uh, I'm just not interested in it as of right now. Doesn't. I'm not interested in a carb period. Well, Jonathan, mowing gets you in the door for other things. What I've noticed the trend is people are I know companies that are strictly landscaping companies. They do landscape maintenance and they are really good at it. What I've found that mowing, landscaping, pruning, or fertilizing, they don't really go together unless you have a large crew or you have the time slots available to do everything. Um, I got into landscape maintenance only because of the 2001 drought. That got me into landscape maintenance. That held me over. But what I found on the wet years is that the landscape maintenance and the mowing collided. And uh, you can't be a jack of all trades. Something suffers. I got to be honest with you. I'm not the best landscaper in the world. I was pretty good back in the day. In the 90s, I was pretty good. I put in some serious amount of landscapes. Early 2000s, but as it goes right now, I stink at it. So that be honest with you, that's leaving. I'm cutting that out as soon as the fertilizer overtakes that. So once the fertilizer doubles that landscaping, I'm actually going to start subbing that out. And I've already started having discussions with a friend of mine who is in the lawn care business, and I've slowly been turning some properties over to him the past couple years, and I am going to, if not this year, the next year, I will not be mulching and doing all those things anymore that I used to do. Um, Pruning and mulching do not go with mowing. Just where I'm veering towards is a fertilizing only business as I hit my 50s. I'm not going to be wanting to weed whack and cut foot high grass in the spring anymore. So I think what you'll see, I think now, it could change, but mowing definitely is the easiest to break into. Um, but if you want to sell your business, it's hard to sell mowing accounts. I mean, you can get mowing accounts all by yourself unless you have some really nice contracts. Now that's different. Like you have a HOA or you have a really large commercial account in your city that you could actually sell. But most HOAs are easily I just called two HOAs. When I did mine, I got two in 1 year. I just called them. I called and said, I asked to talk to the person in charge who's hiring lawn care guy. Explained, hey, this is Johnny's Mowing. Just wanted to see if you guys are interested in getting a lawn care bid. And they're like, yeah, we're always looking for bids. They took those bids, and I got both of them. And turned out to be one of the worst things in your life to do to try to make hundreds of people happy in a development like that. You don't have one boss, you have 30 bosses, and they have nothing to do all day who live in those communities but watch grass grow. So, they'll notice every little spin out mark that you make. And usually you have to price competitively, and so you're not making top dollar. It's really not really worth your time because you can make that residentially. Yeah, the ZT 4400 pumps come in the new 4000 series too. So I'm not a big fan of the HOAs. I mean, let the younger guys do it. Let them fight over it. They can beat each other up in price. It's just not worth it. It's not. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of weed whacking. It's a big chunk of your day, and you get rained out this day. It moves into the next day. Blah 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 blah. Now you can have that. You can have it. Um, and I don't work with management companies. Um, I'm so convinced about not working with management companies now. Listen, we just had a big storm over Christmas, and every single management company lot looked like crap. I mean that. Our Walmarts were horrendous. I mean, that's the worst I've ever seen. Walmarts, Lowe's, Giant Eagles, Get Goes. I will not work for a management company. I just won't. If I can't come in and plow and do what I need to do, you can leave that money. See, here's the thing: when you're dealing with a contract, and this is the thing, is when you're dealing with a contract, with management companies, they want to save as much money as they can. And on light years, they come out on top. But see, on heavy snow years, see, the month of December, we got more snow in the month of December than we did all of last year. So what happens is we still got January, February, and March to go. And so now they're panicking. And so they're trying to cut corners every little place. So the majority of everything that is management company owned here, garbage, garbage. They look terrible. I mean, terrible because you're on contract and you don't want to use up your contract, but they expect. Like I said, our Walmart was horrendous here. I just drove by and laughed at it. I just, God Almighty, it looked terrible. Our Lowe's, you know, uh, Giant Eagle, Get-Go's, just horrendous, horrendous. Uh, our Get-Go didn't get cleaned out for like, I don't know, like pumping gas was like driving. You had to go on a. I Mowing's tough. You could ice skate it on our Get-Go lot for days. Um, Mowing's tough. There's just not enough money in mowing for to run crews and to pay your top guy 20. I mean, you can do it, but um, mowing is a compliment. There's money in mowing, but I wouldn't build a. I wouldn't build a. I mean, think about it. There's companies that push mow only, and how it's so hard to get kids to work today. Imagine push mowing for 8 hours. You're push mowing lawns and weed whacking for 8 hours. Get in and out of a hot truck. Boom, 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 boom. We'll pull up. We'll do these 7 lawns. Bang, 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 bang. Why it used to work in the past is because it is the which the HB visa law, the Hispanic visa law, where you could hire a whole bunch of Hispanics and just go to town, and you could pay them, less, a little bit less. They work hard. That was always the thing. Now, when Trump got in, he messed with that a little bit, and you don't see that anymore. So now you're trying to hire Americans, and what we're finding out is Americans really don't want to do that kind of labor. Um, so, you know, that's the problem that you're having right now, and that's what you're going to continue to see. Unless Biden gets in and opens up the floodgates and lets everyone come in, and then I believe what'll happen is that'll drive the price of lawn care down because um, people that come in that are foreigners are used to living on a lot less than Americans, and if you're not lean and mean when foreigners come in here, they take over because they were used to living on $5 a day, and now all of a sudden you're giving them $100 a day, and you're used to making $500 a day. Well, obviously that's going to be the issue, and I think that's what's coming forward is is stuff like that. If Biden gets in and does his, he's going to open up and we're going to let everyone in the country. We're going to flood it instead of being reasonable and let them go through the process. Trump says it's going to be wild in Washington tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know what to think about all that. Part of me is like, you know, and I will admit it. I voted for Trump. I think he's been a great president uh, for my business anyway. And his tax cuts really helped us out. I mean, we got what was that? Eight no $4,000 because we have kids. We got $2,000 extra paid in taxes every year because we have kids. We got a big tax cut. My wife got her check got taxed, big tax cut. Um, what concerns me about the Trump thing is I don't really see the voter fraud. I obviously I know there's fraud, but it's different to say that on TV. But it's a lot different to get in front of a judge under oath and do it there. That's how I look at it. Like, listen, we've been to 58. All right, but that's where I stand on the politics. But I also don't fully rely on, who's in office. I've been in business when Clinton was in, I've been in business when the Bush was in, I've been in business when Obama was in, I've been in business when Trump's been in, and my supply does not come from government. And I'll be honest with you, I don't look to government. I don't care about their stimulus checks. I don't rely on them. I don't think about them. I remember when Bush gave out what $600 back when he was in, but when Clinton was in, and who was after Clinton? Was it Bush? Bush was in for 8 years, and it was Obama. Obama. I've been in business in the '90s. 2000, 2010s. Now we're in the 2020s, and I don't rely on them. I'm goal oriented. I'm business oriented. I'm going to keep going. I vote conservative. I'm a conservative person for many reasons, and it probably makes a lot of people mad, but that's just how it is. I think both parties are crooked. I think they're just two wings of the same bird, and I think you're watching that play out right now. So for me, my focus is on business. My focus is on God. My focus is on family. My focus is on I did my part. I went and voted. I'm not. I voted in person. I did everything I could do, and that's the end of that. So, what's going on? Any more questions out there? It says there's 28 people in here. Yeah, Jays, our freedom is at stake. But what I, I asked this guy this the other day, and I watched Tucker last night for about 5 minutes, and Candace Owens was on there, and maybe you guys can put in the comment section, you know. So Candace Owens said that the Democrats are willing to do anything. They're willing to riot. They're willing to do whatever it takes to take office and to change America. But the Republicans aren't. What are we supposed to do? Do you want us to riot? I mean, um, do you want us to riot? Do you want us to? What do you want us to do? They're not telling conservative people what do you want us to do. We want to work. We want to make a living. Um, Murphy, I believe it is. I believe it is. I believe it is worth it to get into that field. It depends on how bad the EPA gets. Now I understand it, but what are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to have a civil war? Is that what we're coming to? I mean, I just don't know where we're going with this. There's so much misinformation on the internet. There's so many people who think they're doctors on Facebook. Yeah, there's so many people that are lawyers on Facebook and all these different things, and you see so many memes, and half of them are lies. You can't find real information. Like, I've been looking for the information on how many people died in 2019 and how many people died in 2020, because there was a meme on Facebook for like the first 8 months that more people died in 2019 than 2020. Now all of a sudden I'm hearing that more people died in 2020 and 2019, and so you're seeing some hospitals overrun, and the conservative news networks aren't even covering it. I'm going to give you a good example of what I mean by this. My wife's a teacher. My wife's a teacher, and so they're saying that the teachers union is telling them that they shouldn't teach because of the threat of COVID. Our school had shut down. We were in session for 3 weeks. My wife's a teacher. The teachers union hasn't said anything to us. My wife's a teacher. What happened was they had to quarantine 33 people at our school district. Therefore, we didn't have enough facility to facilitate the students, so they had to go home. So I'm confused. Honestly, guys, I'm living this daily. Our hospital only had one ICU bed, so we had to start shutting some things down in the county that I'm in because we only had one ICU bed. One. So you tell me. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. If you listen to Fox News and Newsmax, COVID is a joke. If you look at CNN, COVID is the most deadly thing in the world. So I don't watch anything anymore because I don't believe any of them. I don't know what to believe. I can only tell you that I believe in the Bible. My faith is in God. You talk to some doctors, it's the worst thing ever. You talk to other doctors, it's a bad flu, John. We're not going to know because we don't get real news anymore. We get news slanted, and it's a shame for the American people. And it's a shame that they've divided us right down the middle. And I've said this. Jesus said to love thy neighbor as thyself. It didn't say love thy neighbor only if he has a Trump sign in his yard. And I've been very disappointed with Trump people and Biden people. You know, if your neighbor has a Biden sign in, man, you're the worst person in the world. Yeah, who are you? I won't even talk to you. There's bigger things than being an elephant and a donkey. Uh, so that's just my opinion, and that's the way I look at it. Obviously, you guys don't have to have that opinion. I just don't know what we're supposed to do. The left is willing to do whatever it takes. They'll riot. They'll burn down cities. They'll stop traffic. Is that what we're supposed to do now? I mean, I can't even imagine. Jesus saying, "Get your guns and start shooting people." At the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus healed the guy. He told Peter what he did was a bad thing. He chopped his ear off, and he said that was a bad thing. Then he healed the guy, the very guy that was there to sentence him to death, basically. So that's my take on it. I don't have all the answers. I definitely don't have all the answers in this. Thanks, Jonathan. I honestly, I'm a conservative guy, though. I vote conservative. I voted conservative. Uh, I kind of was into Bill Clinton's first term back when I was young, but don't forget I graduated in '93, so I was able to vote. I was kind of rock the vote kid, and then as I started to form an opinion back in '96, I kind of started to come around to this way of thinking about conservatism and building wealth. Uh, you know, less taxes, less government. Less time government making decisions for us. And so, especially one of my biggest issues is definitely uh, birth. Abortions. I don't want to see anyone killed, and especially kids. We're talking about COVID all the time. All these we're going out of our way, to really, try to stave off COVID, but we're willing to kill millions of babies a year. And every time you bring it up, the first thing they say, well, what about people that are raped?